So let's summarize things. This is going to be the last section in our training module for today, and actually in our entire master class. So thank you for hanging out with me and learning a little bit more about psychedelic therapy. So I just want to provide a small summary to kind of like just tee up next steps and just set the context for what we've been talking about. So starting with the foundation, we all know that mental health is impacting Americans and actually people around the world, right? A few statistics for you. 60 million US adults experience a mental illness each year that's significant enough to disrupt their life. Number two, anxiety is the most common by far. Twice as many people have an anxiety disorder as have major depressive disorder. Number three, a full 1/3 of US adults reported feeling anxious always or often in the past year. That is insane to me. And number four, less than half of those with a diagnosable mental illness will get any sort of treatment. In fact, 90% of the US public believes that we have a mental health crisis in America. It's no surprise, right? So the reasons that people don't seek any help for their mental suffering, there's a few. Number one, the cost of services, right? They can't afford or they don't prioritize. Talk therapy over the course of a year can be really expensive. Medications even can be expensive. Ketamine is certainly expensive. So if you look at an annualized cost, mental health is just really expensive. And unfortunately, some insurance providers still don't cover it. The second is stigma that's associated with seeking treatment. Unfortunately, mental health is still often just seen as a weakness or something you should take care of on your own, unlike physical illness, where of course you call up the doctor. You don't even think about it if you're sick. You just call them up. So that's still a stigma that we are dealing with in mental health. Number three, there's a perceived lack of efficacy of treatments or high effort and hassle in finding a good provider. And I say perceived lack of efficacy. I mean, certainly some treatments are effective, but then there's also so many people for whom they're not effective. And the fact that mental health is getting worse over time is not good news for existing treatment models, right? So, and then the fourth one is that a lot of people just believe that they can treat the issue on their own, right? And this, unfortunately, often comes with self-medication, aka substance use, that might start with, every once in a while when you have a bad day, and then pretty soon it slips and slides into a daily habit that you can't quite shake. But regardless, a lot of people tend to want to manage their mental health on their own when they are perfectly happy going to a doctor for their physical health. Now, the co-occurrence of mental and physical disorders is actually a major challenge in healthcare worldwide. Its prevalence is increasing and it's likely to continue to grow. So for example, people who have depression have a 40% higher risk of developing a cardiovascular or metabolic disease than the general population. And people with serious mental illness are nearly twice as likely to develop these conditions. Depression is twice as frequent in people with diabetes compared to those people without diabetes. And almost 34% of US adults with mental illness also experienced a substance use disorder as of 2021. This was almost 20 million individuals. So it's clear that mental health is a major issue in the United States and around the world, right? And if you're watching this training, you're probably one of those people who's experiencing some kind of struggle around your mental health, or you have a loved one who is. But the bottom line is that our existing tools for mental health treatment just aren't working. Talk therapy and medications may be effective at treating some symptoms, but as mental health symptoms get more severe, the existing tools just stop working as well. And medications in particular, as I've said, are known for just suppressing undesirable symptoms. Medications don't really help people, right, address the root cause of their suffering. Psychedelics are an exciting new step in interventional treatment for people who have tried other things and still feel stuck. So I hope that this training has been educational for you. You should now be equipped with several pieces of knowledge. Number one, how does psilocybin work in the brain, right? How exactly does it physically work? Number two, its effectiveness track record, both in terms of clinical trials and also real-world results, such as my center in Oregon. Number three, how Oregon's program specifically works and who's eligible for it. Number four, how psilocybin therapy can positively impact your career and financial situation by improving performance at work. That is something that we actually didn't talk about yet, and I'm going to include in a bonus section if I haven't already when you view this. Number 5, the safety considerations for psilocybin and especially contraindications. Number 6, the expected effects and outcomes at different dosing ranges. And last, my most common frequently asked questions in the over 400 new client consults that I've held. So those are questions that I've answered, and they're asked by a majority of our clients. So I hope that that has been helpful to you. What I'd like to ask you to do next, honestly, is to just kind of pause and absorb this, right? Let yourself absorb this information for just however long you need. You might already be feeling called into this medicine and this experience, and that's fine. You might be super excited and you might find the prospect of going through this program really appealing. And if that's the case and you're feeling pretty sure you want to pursue psychedelic treatment, we can complete an onboarding assessment with you like today, right? You can do this today, and we can begin onboarding you within a couple of days, which is basically getting your intake forms on file with us and then being matched with a facilitator to work with. That's a conversation that you and I can have pretty quickly, and then you can just head into your preparation and planning and like set your administration session date. So that is fine for the people that are ready to act. And there's going to be a lot of other people watching this that are just in learning mode, and that's okay too. So if you aren't sure yet whether this is right for you, or you think it is, but it's just not a good time in your life or whatever, then I just encourage you just taking your time thinking about the things I presented, right? We want to serve as many people as we can, but obviously we're not going to accept clients into our program if we believe that doing so will pose a threat to your safety, not just during the session, but actually afterwards. So we want to talk about like what's at home, what kind of support systems do you have in place, what's your life like, because we don't want this to be destabilizing for you, right? And of course, even if psilocybin therapy would be perfectly safe for you, if you don't feel mentally ready to go through this and experience the radical change that happens afterwards, then it's just not a good time for you, and that's okay. So the sad truth is that a lot of people will stay stuck in their fear because the devil they know is less scary than living a life or embracing an identity that kind of feels unfamiliar to them, right? Even if it's like healthier in the long run. And I know this, I'm talking from personal experience. I was one of those people. I stayed stuck for 20 years before I finally had the courage to go through something like this. If you remember from early on, I said I was raised in a conservative environment. I was very anti-drug, anti-alcohol, anti-everything, right? But I finally got over my stigmas to be able to see the actual therapeutic benefit in this, and I went through it, and I'm so glad it did because it changed my life and healed my childhood literally overnight. And I ended up calling my parents the next day and reconciling with them, and I hadn't talked to them in 5 years, and it just was such a powerful and healing experience for me. So I am personal proof that this can work even if you are scared at some point in your life. My point being is that, you really have sovereignty over how you live this life you've been given. We all do. And as I stated earlier, this training really isn't meant to convince you or sell you. It's just my goal to educate you and to equip you with knowledge and information so that you can make the best choice for your health and your life. There is no denying that psilocybin can be disruptive. Usually it's positively disruptive, right? But it could have implications on things like your relationships or your job as well, especially if those things are somewhat toxic. Psilocybin is likely to highlight areas of your life that are hurting you, so be prepared for those things. Be prepared to consider those things before you sign up. So as a potential client or just a member of the general public who's watching this now, you're ultimately going to kind of opt in, opt out, you're not sure. And if and when you are feeling like you want to take the next step, here's what that looks like. First, I think I mentioned earlier, we don't conduct sales calls, right? We're very health focused. And so if you're kind of on the fence and you have a question or concern related to your situation that hasn't been covered in this training, you can just email your question or concern to me directly. My email is Kat, at fractalhealthpdx.com. I usually get back to you within about 24 business hours, and you can ask quick questions there without needing to hop on the phone call, a phone for 30-minute call. If you are feeling good about moving forward after listening to this training, then my team and I are ready to engage with you. So you're going to start by filling out an onboarding questionnaire, right? This is kind of like an application in a way This only takes like 2 minutes and it gets sent to me and my team to review, but it just confirms your eligibility and it provides an opportunity to like get a, so that we can get to know you a little bit more, your goals, your timing, any open questions you have. And it just helps make our one-on-one intake call more efficient. So after you fill that out, you'll be invited to schedule an actual intake call with me. This is to discuss that assessment form and then the next step onboarding logistics, like it could be like travel arrangements, facilitator matching, administration session dates that we're open. I'll pull up the center calendar and tell you about our next availability. You don't have to have specific dates, right, picked coming into the call. That's totally fine. Just know that we conduct sessions right now on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And when things get more, I'm doing this over the winter when things are a little bit slow. Over the summer, we open up additional days as well. So it's really just a matter of picking one of those days where both you and your facilitator are free and one of your preferred rooms is available as well. So again, I can give you that real-time availability on our call. Going through the call doesn't obligate you to move forward. Of course, if you have some doubts after our convo and you're feeling like this isn't a good fit for you, that's okay. I just don't want potential clients to view this as a sales call. Again, I'm not going to spend time on the call convincing you that this is for you. I prefer engaging with people who have already opted into this experience with the knowledge I've equipped you with. And moving forward, we would only cease services if like something came up that would indicate that it's not safe for you after we've already, accepted you into the program. That happens really, really rarely. So anyway, so for some subset of you, I will eventually be meeting you in person, and I'm super excited about that. It's honestly what gets me out of bed every day is helping people, and it's incredibly fulfilling, this choice of career that I've done and just being able to give back to humanity. So I look forward to meeting you if you wish to join our community. And if you don't, I wish you all the best anyways. And I really hope that either way that this has been educational. Take care.